solidarity march in protest against, of course, the reinstatement of those people in protest, rather, on those plans to relocate the Palestinians from Gaza to Egypt as well as Jordan. We understand that Reverend Frank Chikane is currently addressing those that are in attendance. Let's listen in.
They have asked us, they said to me and the delegation that was there, that nobody understands them better than South Africans. South Africans have experienced this apartheid system and they will be able to support them better. We heard their view, their request. We came back to South Africa and I came to Cape Town here to come and report that we have been asked to do that. And so we convened a global conference in May last year and brought 400 people from the different parts of the world to come and talk about how we end this Zionist system. And they went back to go and organize every part of the world. They came from Latin America, Europe, USA, Asia, etc. And we decided last year we must provide leadership because they asked us. So we held a conference the 29th of November and launched a South African chapter of the anti-apartheid movement last year, November. And January, we met on the 28th of January to then have a first conference of the anti-apartheid movement, the chapter in South Africa. We agreed how we must constitute a council of that anti-apartheid movement. On Tuesday this week, on the 25th, we are meeting at 2 o'clock to have the first meeting of the South African chapter of the anti-apartheid movement. And I just want to say that this movement, we have mobilized, this movement involves all the Palestinian solidarity groups in the country. There's somebody who's trying to have another conference at the back there. I just want to say that it represents all the Palestinian solidarity groups. It involves the religious communities, Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Jewish, etc. Remember, we are not against the Jews, we are against Zionism. You must remember that. So you'll find our Jewish comrades within that council. It has got the trade union movements. We have got the two major federations. We are reaching out to the rest of the other federations. It has got political parties in parliament that support Palestine. So if there's a political party in parliament that support Palestine, you'll find them on Tuesday meeting with us in a council. It involves community groups around the country. We're trying to make sure that this movement represents everybody in the country. On Tuesday, and that's the last part I'm going to talk about, we will agree on a program of action. And this program of action is based on the declaration of the conference last year. If you haven't seen it, just Google anti-apartheid conference, you'll find it in the website. Then we did a plan of action. That plan of action involves boycotts of anything that comes from Israel or goes to Israel. We boycott everything that comes from Israel or goes to Israel. And we have talked with the trade union federations, and they have agreed that we're going to deal with those products that are sent to Israel. And they have said they will support it. It will affect workers, and they are working on a way in which we can do it with the least impact on workers. Because it is the workers who are going to say at Richards Bay, we are not moving this coal to Israel. That's where workers are critical. So workers are critical in our boycott campaign. You can't do it without workers. So we were working out how it can be done with the least impact on the workers, and that will be announced. We want to make sure there's an arms boycott against Israel at all levels. We are going to make sure no arms go past our sea and ports. There's one ship that was carrying Israeli material going through West Africa, coming to Southern Africa up the north. And we stopped it. It tried to land in Angola. We talked to the comrades in Angola, and they stopped it landing. It ended up in the sea. And the country, they used different flags of countries. And then they lost the flag because that country could not sustain it. We want to campaign in a way that the flags they use will be brought down and the ships will have no flag so that they cannot move. We're going to have boycotts of sports, culture, academic, health workers who come here to collaborate with Zionists. We're going to do that. So we have got a plan of action, and we want to make that a program of action for all South Africans. And I just want to say that it is possible. Some people think it is not possible. It is possible. We're going to make sure that those who collaborate, it will cost them a lot of money to support Israel. We must make it costly. And we must make sure that that economy collapses. And we must make sure, lastly, that we mobilize the world, so we're not going to work alone. The way in which the anti-apartheid movement, for those who are younger, let me tell you the story. The time when I was traveling, mobilizing the world, at one stage I got stuck in Europe. When we were underground, I left underground, worked in Europe and Asia and other places. I was amazed to find the anti-apartheid places, the movement everywhere. I mean, the day I arrived in Japan and I found an anti-apartheid movement, I said, yo, this movement has gone very far. And so we must make sure there's no country where there is no anti-apartheid movement. We have talked to the Asian ambassadors, some of the Arab ambassadors. We have talked to African ambassadors. We want to make sure we establish everywhere where we can.